All right, today we're going to dive into a tool that is so simple, but so incredibly powerful, it can literally change how you deal with stress. It's called the let them theory, and it all boils down to just two little words. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. How much of your energy gets completely drained trying to manage things you have zero control over? Other people's choices, their opinions, their bad moods. It is exhausting, right? So, where did this game-changing idea even come from? Well, you might be surprised to learn that the origin of this whole theory comes from a place of pure, unadulterated stress, a high school prom. Yep, author Mel Robbins basically stumbled upon it when her son's big night went completely off the rails. Okay, so picture this, total chaos. Her son is kind of wishy-washy about even going to prom, and then at the very last minute, he decides he's in. This, of course, kicks off a mad dash for everything, the tux, the shoes. He even found a date just 48 hours before the dance. And you know that urge to control all the little details to make things perfect? Well, Mel gets this beautiful corsage, but her son tells her his date doesn't want one. She, of course, ignores him, brings it anyway, and it leads to this super awkward, cringy moment where his date, who's already wearing her own homemade corsage, has to put on a second one. Yikes. And just when you think it can't get any more stressful, it does. It starts pouring rain, and Mel realizes this group of 20 teenagers has zero dinner reservations. Their brilliant plan? To just show up at a tiny little taco joint that has like 4 tables. So naturally, her brain just explodes, and she goes into full-on fix-it mode, desperately trying to find a restaurant to save the night. So as Mel is frantically trying to wrestle control of this whole situation, totally convinced that it's her job to rescue prom, her daughter says something that just stops her in her tracks. And there they are, those two words. Mel kind of pushes back, worried they'll get soaked, that they'll ruin their fancy clothes. But her daughter just calmly keeps saying it. Let them get soaked. Let them ruin their clothes. Mom, it's their prom. It's not yours. And this is the magic of it. Mel talks about this feeling of an immediate physical release. All that tension she was holding in her body it evaporated. Her mind stopped racing. She just gave her son $40 for tacos and told him to have a great time. But, and this is so important, just saying let them is only half of the equation. If you stop right there, you can actually end up feeling kind of bitter and disconnected. There's a second part. And honestly, it's the part that gives you all your power back. Let's use a seesaw to picture this. Okay, so when someone does something that bugs you, let's say your friends take a trip and they don't invite you, and you get all upset and insecure, you are pushing your own side of the seesaw way down. You feel less than. You've just given them all the power. So then you try step 1. You say, fine, let them. And that pushes you up. You detach. And for a second, it feels good, right? You feel like you're above it all. But this can also make you feel a little superior, a little judgmental, and that is not the goal here. And that's the big trap. If you're just floating above everybody else, you're not actually connecting with them. You're just withdrawing. It becomes an excuse to build walls and to stop taking responsibility for your own happiness. So, how do we find that balance? How do we really truly get our power back without disconnecting from everyone? Well, let's look at the second half of this theory. This is where it all comes together. And here it is. This is the power move. Let me. This phrase completely shifts the focus away from them and puts it right back on you. It's about taking ownership. It's about asking yourself, okay, so what do I want now? And how can I create that for myself? So you see, it's this 2-step dance. Let them is the great release. It lifts that heavy burden of trying to control other people. And then let me is the pivot. It's where you take the steering wheel of your own life back into your own hands. And this is what brings that seesaw back to a perfect balance. You're not looking down on them, and you're not feeling less than them. You're just accepting that they get to be who they are, and you accept your own responsibility to create the life that you want. It's about having compassion for them and for yourself. Okay, so this sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work in real life? Let's get practical and run through some super common examples. All right, that cashier moving at a snail's pace, instead of getting all worked up, just think. Let them be slow. Let me be patient and choose my peace. Your friends made plans without you? Ouch. But let them have their night. Let me call up another friend and plan something awesome for myself. The person you're dating doesn't want to commit? Okay. Let them be honest about what they want. Let me go find someone who wants what I want. See how that works? I mean, this simple idea has had such a huge impact on people that they are literally getting "let them" tattooed on their bodies as a permanent reminder. That's how you know this isn't just a clever phrase. It's a profound shift in how you live. And this quote from Mel really just says it all, doesn't it? The more you let other people live their lives, the better your life gets. Your happiness was never dependent on controlling them anyway. In fact, it's the total opposite. True freedom comes from letting go. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Where are you wasting your precious energy right now trying to control something you can't? What person, what situation can you apply this to today so that you can release that burden and finally let yourself be free?